summer. Now it's summer. Now, now, now. Good morning, everyone. Morning and ohayo gozaimasu. We just chanted Sambutsuge and we read the English translation. And some part we say 10 quarters, 10 quarters. So what is 10 quarters? So north, south, east, west is a four direction. And between north and east, northeast, you call it northeast? Or like a southeast, southwest. So it's a +4 and 8. So it's eight quarters. And up and down, we plus up and down. Then it's 10 quarters. That means everywhere. So no time, doesn't matter time and places. So 10 quarters is all, every, whenever and wherever. So Buddha's question reaches us whenever, wherever and whoever. So it's 10, we call it Jippo, 10 quarters. Like a Sambujo, before chanting Sambutsuge, we chanted page 29, Sambujo. And there is an English translation here. So we respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple. And in Japanese, we call it Jippo Nyorai. Jippo is a 10 quarters. Nyorai is a Buddha. So that is why it's every Buddhas welcome our temple. Not only Shakyamuni Buddha, not only Amida Buddha, but we respect all Buddhas of all times and places. So sometimes temple member ask me, what is the 10 quarters and why we have a Amida Buddha, not only Shakyamuni Buddha? Do we have many Buddhas? Yes, we have many Buddhas, not only one Buddhas. And we bow and place our palms here to Amida Buddha. The Buddha is also called Buddha of immeasurable life and light. Immeasurable life and light. Life expresses Buddha's good, great compassion, and light expresses Buddha's great wisdom. Anyway, to begin with my Dharma talk, I'd like to introduce my favorite saying in Japanese. 実るほど神戸を垂れる稲穂かな. Do you know that? Yeah, you know. 実るほど神戸を垂れる稲穂かな. 実る means like growing up. 神戸 is a head. And 垂れる is a like bowing or going down. 稲穂かな is a rice. So have you ever seen the rice field? So when you see the rice field in the fall season, like when rice grows up, their head is going down. So it means the boughs that bear most bow lowest. Just as rice plant drops as the seed ripens, so human beings also become more humble as they become more learned and virtuous. So when we growing up, we don't act like, oh, I'm a good person. So when we growing up or learn a lot, human become more humble. And I think there's a similar saying in English, the more you know, the more humble you become. Is that English saying? But I Googled and Google told me like it's same meanings. Yeah. So, but I really like the Japanese version, the image of the bowing plant in the less direct and makes it easy for me to understand. And the other reason is because there were many rice fields next to my hometown, next to my house in Oita City. there are so many rice fields. So, and in the fall season, my grandparents, especially my grandfather, told me like, 実るほど神戸を垂れる稲穂かな and told me like to become humble. And I often hear this saying when I listen to Dharma talk in Japan. So I think Jodo Shinshu Buddhist ministers like this saying. And if you have your favorite saying in English, please let me know after this service. And it was bad weather last week. Yeah. In Hamilton also bad weather. Yeah. And I was very worried about being able to get my car out of the parking lot due to the heavy snow, because there were, when I spoke here, like the camera shows only my mouth. So I hope it's, sorry. Nothing. Okay, this hi April. Sorry, like you can see that video too, right? Not only my. Sorry, I was surprised. Anyway, so there was a memorial service in the morning, so I was worried whether I could go to the temple, because it was bad weather. However, when I was holding a memorial service, the sun shows up and shine the really strong light to the temple. And when I left the temple, I saw some family at the park next to the temple, and and it looks so fun. And I wanted to play in the snow too, but I decided to go back home because I was so exhausted after memorial service. So even though I was feeling tired, the sun was still shining and giving us energy. And I said it was bad weather, but it was beautiful and good weather too. So I usually talk like a human desire always decide good or bad from our ego. Even if I say, oh, Maureen is bad person, we don't know she's a bad person. Maybe she is a good person for the lady. Yeah, you should say yes. Yeah. So we decide or judge good or bad depend on our situation or feeling. But in Buddhism, we call it ego. So we shouldn't say good or bad the weather, or don't judge. She is good or bad. She is Maureen. Maureen is Maureen. But it's really difficult to see that just as she is, because we have mono bright passion. So and there was another funeral service in Hamilton, and I knew the person who passed away well because she always attended the Hamilton Buddhist Temple services. So you may know the Miki. Yeah. Even though she was a senior member, she came to the temple before anyone else to prepare the tea and coffee for the refreshments. And sometime I saw she was the last person who left the temple after cleaning up. And when I helped, like collecting dirty dishes, like after refreshment, she said, "No, Sensei, don't touch it, don't touch it. You don't have to help. You don't have help. So leave it, leave it." And especially when I still wearing the robe, she never mad at me, but she said, "No, you were wearing a robe, so why you don't change it? Go to the change of the robe and help." Yeah, so she was really kind and always so nice to me. But I really loved talking with her while we did dishes together. And she was honest and very humble. When I talked to her about Shin Buddhism, one time she said, Sensei, actually, I don't know all the doctrines or teachings of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. I don't know the teaching like clearly, but I heard that Amida Buddha settled all things to accept us to the Pure Land unconditionally. And many of us may know the Jodo Shinshu teaching that says we are accepted just as we are through Amida Buddha's other-centered power. But when I talked with her, I sensed that she understood that teaching with her heart mind, not her head, not as a knowledge, but she understood in the heart. And I still remember one day she said, I'm not good Buddhist. I thought she was a good person and a good Buddhist because she always helped others without asking for anything in return. But she said, no, I'm not good Buddhist. So I wondered why she would say that about herself. So even though she was very kind and thoughtful, maybe she felt it was not very much. Maybe she understood that as humans, our kindness is limited or limited compassion to the great benevolence of Amida Buddha. So when we compare our own compassion with Amida's great benevolence, we might feel small because our compassion is limited. So Amida Buddha is also called Buddha of immeasurable light and life. The light expresses Amida's great wisdom, and life expresses Amida's great compassion. And when we encounter the immeasurable life and light, it's hard to say out loud that I'm a good person or good Buddhist. And I think if I told her, you are so humble, her answer would also be humble. She would give the credit to Amida Buddha and said, Amida Buddha grows my Buddha seed. That is what makes me humble. So the rice also cannot grow up by itself. Rice also needs sun, water, and ground. So everything, so many supports grows up the rice. So I think Miki also understood, not even though she learned or listened to the teachings of the Buddha a lot, she understood because of Buddha grows her Buddha seed. And I don't want all of you to say you are good Buddhist, like she said, but we can learn something from her behavior. And last year, I was invited to her house due to her own funeral consultation with her. And I usually do the consultation with the family after someone passes away. But she wanted to prepare and make sure everything is settled and let her family know they didn't have to worry about anything. And when I did her funeral consultation, I thought she already accepted her death. And it's very difficult to consider our own death because it makes us feel anxiety. the death we can know is the death of others, but not our own. In other words, we can think about the experiences of death of others through the funeral services. However, no one can experience their own death. Moreover, it's impossible to do your own funeral by yourself. And last month, I read a book written by Eric Fromm, and he talked about love, because last month there was Valentine's Day, so I wanted to read his book. But he also said about life and death. He said, the future is full of uncertainty. Nothing is certain in the future. The only things that is certain to happen in the future is death. Yeah, thinking about death leads us to isolation. That isolation creates a sense of loneliness. That loneliness creates great anxiety. So even though we wish to go to the Pure Land with others at the same time, it's impossible. Therefore, there is a phrase in Raja Sutra, Doksho, Dokshi, Dokyo Dorai. That means all sentient beings are born alone and must die alone. No one can replace them. This is truth. So we must feel anxiety when we face with these difficult truths of death. But at the same time, we can encounter the meaning of Nembutsu. And we can appreciate Amida Buddha, because Amida Buddha has fulfilled the primal vow never to leave us alone. The Amida's activity embodied sound of Namo Amida Butsu reaches us whenever and wherever. The Namo Amida Butsu is the great compassion of Amida Buddha that never overlooks any of us. That is why whenever we hear the Nembutsu, we feel the sense of relief. And at the time, we cannot help but hang our heads in the humility, like the bows that bear most bow lowest. So I'm so honored to order Mickey's funeral, and I'm so appreciate to encounter or meet her in Hamilton Buddhist Temple, and it's my treasures in my life, treasure memory in my life, and I hope, not hope, but I'm sure when we close our eyes, we are still able to think of her gentle smile and warm heart, because she's not really gone. She's always going to be part of your life. And now she became a Buddha, so she grows our Buddha seed as like her. Thank you so much. Please join me, Dasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.